Hi, so we're outside today because it's so hot in my room and I don't want to record in there. And as I am outside, there may be neighbors around, and so I am self-conscious and I am talking quietly, and so I hope you can hear me. So, last night I was having a bit of a binge watch party of as many videos on asexuality, aromanticism, and just pride in general that I could get my hands on. And I was sort of inspired to make a video about a thing that I've been dealing with that I know that is a bit of a common thing in my community, in the asexual/aromantic community. Really quick before we get into it, if you want to see more of these kinds of videos, like me talking about asexuality, aromanticism, and anything that may come with that, please leave me a comment below and let me know what you would want me to talk about, because I really do want to start making more videos about this and contributing to the resources and the visibility of this community. So yeah, if you'd like to see any of that, leave me ideas in the comments. So a little while ago, I made a video called Coming Out to Myself as Aromantic. And since then, I have not been entirely sure whether that was the right label for me. I have run into people who have struck me as attractive, and I've run into people who have struck me as maybe I want to date this person, and I've been on dating apps, and overall I have felt like a bad aromantic person, and that's kind of a crappy way to feel, because the funny thing about identifying as asexual and or aromantic is that your identity is based on the absence of this thing. So asexuality being the absence of sexual attraction, and aromanticism being the absence of romantic attraction. And so for me, it's difficult to really be 100% solid on whether it's okay yet to 100% say that my identity is based on the absence of this feeling. As far as asexuality goes, I'm set on that. I'm past the point of like doubting whether I actually am, and I know that the whole not having experienced it yet thing isn't really a valid argument as to why I wouldn't be asexual. But with aromanticism, this is something I touched on previously in the last video I made about it. But with aromanticism, it's a bit more difficult, because whereas I know where I stand on sexual attraction and that kind of thing, I'm not as solid on how I feel about romance and whether I'm actually attracted to people romantically, because when I was younger, I always equated aesthetic attraction with romantic attraction. Like, you're cute, I want to date you. But I know that love is more complex than that. And knowing that I sort of skewed my perception of what romance and love really is, it's a bit more difficult to come to terms with whether or not I actually am this thing that is based on the presence or absence of a thing that I don't even know how to feel, or what it would feel. Or, I mean, I guess by that definition it wouldn't be as hard, but backtracking and knowing that that thing I felt for that person wasn't actually a crush in the way that I would have thought it was. It was just maybe aesthetic attraction, or hey, I want to know you better. So my main fear has been identifying as aromantic and then being a person who plays into the stereotype of being like a late bloomer in terms of these feelings. That's not the basis of what aromanticism is, and I don't want to be someone I'm scared of perpetuating that stereotype for a community that, even if I'm not actually a part of, I have such a connection with, and that I want to help be more visible and be more accepted in society and in the community in general, and into LGBTQIA plus spaces. Something you hear about a lot from people who aren't as understanding of the queer community is like this idea that certain identities are stepping stones into other ones, like how maybe being bisexual is a stepping stone into being gay, or how maybe being asexual is a spider. How maybe being asexual is a stepping stone into not being asexual because of whatever reason. I don't want to say that's never true, because some people have identified as bi and then realized they're gay, or identified as asexual and then realized that that's not them anymore. But that doesn't mean that it was just a phase, or it doesn't mean that those feelings weren't true, or that like someone was just trying to fit in or be special, like a special snowflake kind of thing. That is one of my fears, is playing into that, and just being another reason for people to say like, oh, being aromantic is just like a thing that people say when they can't get a date or something like that, which is messed up. There are people to whom labels are very important, and there are other people who don't find labels as important, and I'm in the first category, where I feel the need for a word that encompasses this thing that I'm feeling. But at the same time, it's difficult for me to find that certain label, because there are many identities within the aromantic spectrum that within the umbrella term, like for example, a demi-romantic being not forming romantic attraction until you've formed like a strong emotional bond, or agree romantic, which means only very, very rarely forming romantic attraction. But so while I feel like just aromantic might not quite encompass who I am, I still don't have the experiences that I need to really see if those other ones are fitting for me. And I know that right now, if I use the umbrella term aromantic, and later on I realize that maybe I'm heteroromantic or homoromantic or panromantic or demi-romantic or whatever, I feel like having that word to describe myself shouldn't be as important as being okay with where I am in my journey now. I don't think that I'm completely aromantic, and I don't think I'm completely heteroromantic. I'm still trying to figure out where I stand with all that, like who it would be. And I don't want to say anything too specific, because I don't want to. That's the thing. I caught myself right there. I don't want to be too specific about who I'm considering would be the person I'm attracted to right now, because if that turns out to be wrong, I don't want to look back on this and say, oh, like, I shouldn't have said that because it wasn't right. It's so difficult to see, like, it's when your identity is based on the absence of romantic attraction, it makes it difficult to really know for sure, like, maybe you haven't met the right person. And I don't know. The thing that I want to get to as a result of all this is that I am simply questioning myself right now, and later on maybe I'll meet someone and maybe I won't, and whether I'm aromantic or not, what I'm feeling right now may be confusion and maybe not the way that I'm actually wired, but it's still an important part of my journey up to finding out what it really is, and every single part of the journey is one of the most important parts. I feel like knowing in the future is going to make this not invalid, but worth it. I'm where I am in my journey right now, and that is exactly where in my story I'm supposed to be. And if you are feeling confused as to what to call yourself, what to identify as, and if you're feeling confused, if you are looking for a label and you can't find one, then know that this is an important part of your story. And whether it's a phase and it'll change over time, or whether you know exactly what you are, just need to find a word for it, it doesn't make a difference to who you are as a person. Like, whether or not you find it right away, whether you spend, years and years trying to find who you are, that's okay. Wherever you are is valid enough, and you don't need to prove yourself to anybody. You don't need to find the word to tell people. You don't owe anyone your identity. You just owe yourself the love that you deserve. I hope that you found this at all helpful if you needed it, and if you didn't, I'm very glad that you stuck it out anyway, and I hope that you find the resources you need to get to that point in your story where you can close the book and feel okay with who you are, where you are, what you are, and I just hope that you can love yourself no matter what. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said, if you have anything you'd like me to talk about, just leave it in the comments and I'll try my very best. And if you want to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.